Welcome to What Would You Choose? Your daily dose of fun choices. Carrot versus corn. Which one grows underground? The answer is carrot. Camel versus horse. Which one has a hump? The answer is camel. Castle versus Statue of Liberty. Which one looks like a palace? The answer is castle. Duck versus chicken. Which one swims in ponds? The answer is duck. Cucumber versus avocado. Which one is green inside and out? The answer is cucumber. Octopus versus snake. Which one lives in the ocean? The answer is octopus. Japanese castle versus Roman temple. Which one is found in Japan? The answer is Japanese castle. Koala versus bear. Which one eats eucalyptus leaves? The answer is koala. Burger versus taco. Which one usually has a bun? The answer is burger. Llama versus goat. Which one has a longer neck? The answer is llama. Beach versus mountain. Which one has sand and waves? The answer is beach. Lobster versus fish. Which one has claws? The answer is lobster. Lemon versus strawberry. Which one tastes sour? The answer is lemon. Rooster versus dove. Which one crows at sunrise? The answer is rooster. Peanut versus chestnut. Which one is often found in butter form? The answer is peanut. Bat versus bird. Which one flies at night? The answer is bat. Maldives versus Himalayas. Which one has snowy peaks? The answer is Himalayas. Swan versus owl. Which one is awake at night? The answer is owl. Cupcake versus cake. Which one is smaller and fits in your hand? The answer is cupcake. Orangutan versus monkey. Which one has reddish-brown hair? The answer is orangutan. New York City versus San Francisco. Which one has the Golden Gate Bridge? The answer is San Francisco. Gecko versus crocodile. Which one is much smaller? The answer is gecko. Pizza versus noodles. Which one is often sliced into triangles? The answer is pizza. Butterfly versus bee. Which one makes honey? The answer is B. Grapes versus cherries. Which one grows in bunches? The answer is grapes. Penguin versus parrot. Which one lives in cold places? The answer is penguin. Statue of Liberty versus Gyongbokgong Palace. Which one is in South Korea? The answer is Gyongbokgong Palace. Tortoise versus alligator. Which one moves slower? The answer is tortoise. Lollipop versus chocolate. Which one is eaten on a stick? The answer is lollipop. Squirrel versus beaver. Which one builds dams? The answer is beaver. Snail versus ant. Which one carries its house? The answer is snail. Rice versus French fries. Which one is made from potatoes? The answer is French fries. Animal tracks versus shoe prints. Which one is made by people? The answer is shoe prints. Giraffe versus zebra. Which one has black and white stripes? The answer is zebra. Camping tent versus house. Which one is portable? The answer is camping tent. Ice cream versus cupcake. Which one melts quickly? The answer is ice cream. Cat paw versus dog paw. Which one belongs to a barking animal? The answer is dog paw. Neuschwanstein Castle versus Himaji Castle. Which one is in Germany? The answer is Neuschwanstein Castle. Cow versus goat. Which one gives us more milk? The answer is cow. Shrimp versus tuna. Which one is smaller in size? The answer is shrimp. Hedgehog versus rabbit. Which one has spiky fur? The answer is hedgehog. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe Seendal Kids for more Would You Rather quizzes likes that.